The migrant worker brought his son's savings book to the bank to withdraw money for medical treatment, but the bank teller asked him to prove the father-son relationship. The worker showed the household registration booklet, but the teller said it wasn't enough, and insisted his son had to be present to confirm it in person. The worker pleaded that his child was in the hospital and urgently needed the money, but the teller coldly replied, "If taking money was that easy, you might as well rob the place." Before the words even finished, 3 armed robbers stormed into the bank and instantly took control of everyone. They forced the teller to open the vault and hand over all the cash. They also demanded everyone on site hand over their valuables. Soon, 2 large bags were filled with cash. Just as the robbers were about to leave, the migrant worker stepped forward and blocked the door. He said the money was for his son's life-saving treatment. If they took it all, his son would die for sure. To his surprise, one of the robbers felt sympathy and handed him several $1,000s, telling him to get to the hospital quickly. But the worker knew it was stolen money, so he refused to take it, and even urged the robbers to return the cash and let him withdraw it legally. But they ignored him and quickly fled. Just then, the hospital called, saying his son's condition was critical and surgery had to be done immediately. With no other choice, the worker rushed to pay the bill with the stolen money. Although his son's life was saved, the worker was later listed as an accomplice and taken to court. The bank's lawyer turned out to be his son-in-law, but the son-in-law was very principled. After several rounds of trial, the court sentenced the worker to 20 years in prison. The case sparked a national outcry. Media outlets covered the story of the wrongfully convicted father. The worker wept on camera, saying the bank had made things impossibly difficult. Millions of people believed he was innocent, but the son remained in a coma after surgery, and doctors told his sister his recovery didn't look promising. He might never wake up. While the sister was in despair, the son suddenly woke up. When he heard his father's cries on TV, he immediately decided to prove his father's innocence. His sister tried to stop him, saying the bank had top lawyers, but the young man insisted. He studied law to help ordinary people, and now that his own father was suffering, he had to act. Over the next few days, he buried himself in studying criminal law, and finally found a breakthrough. He and his sister rushed to visit their father in detention, but the father begged them not to get involved, saying they couldn't afford to go against the bank, and it might even land the son in prison too. But the young man insisted he would do everything in his power to clear his father's name. He then reached out to people who had previously had disputes with the bank, and asked them to show up in court in support. After collecting enough evidence, the siblings filed a lawsuit against the bank. On the other side, the bank president flew into a rage after learning the son was suing, and told legal to find a way to put the son in jail too. A few days later, the case reached its final hearing, and the court opened a nationwide livestream. Millions of viewers tuned in. Soon, the young man and his sister walked into the courtroom, but when the sister saw her husband defending the bank, she exploded with anger. The trial began, and the young man used the same logic to ask the bank to prove the stolen money was theirs. He also filed for emotional damages. This argument stunned everyone in the courtroom, and support flooded in for the young man. The bank president was left completely speechless.